Hi guys, this is Scribbly again with another video, and today I'm not going to have exactly a product review but more a tutorial / workshop video. And what I'm going to show you today, or what this workshop or tutorial shall be about, is making your own notebooks, pocket notebooks. I'm going to do one pocket notebook here for you step by step, but what I'm going to do here with one pocket notebook is pocket size A6. You can apply the same thing to A7, A5, A4, whatever you like. Now, why would you want to make your own notebooks when there are plenty of options of pocket notebooks available out there? Well, reason being is that as long as you write into a pocket notebook with a ballpoint pen or a mechanical pencil or whatsoever, it pretty much doesn't matter what kind of notebook you're using, because all of those paper types that are used in different kinds of notebooks are normally very uncomplicated when you use anything but ink. But since many people, I hope many people, do like to write with a fountain pen, we all write with fountain pens, don't we? Of course, a fountain pen does use ink, and that is now when paper quality starts mattering, because, and I'm going to show you just a couple of examples here. This is now by no means a shaming or bashing of any particular notebook manufacturers. It's just a stash that I had around. When you use ink, ink has a tendency of bleeding through, feathering and all that. So as said, paper quality matters. Now here I have a pretty inexpensive pocket notebook that I bought from a local small shop here in Sweden. And you see when I write with ink on that side here, the paper does bleed through. This here is another pocket notebook, doesn't matter what exactly it is, but you see I wrote with ink on that side and ink does bleed through. Those notebooks here, some say they are good, they have a couple of special editions and all that. It depends very much on what paper they use for which notebook in order to determine, or in order to see if it does bleed through or not. Sometimes it happens. Moleskine, they are pretty much hit or miss. Now here is one, I did some couple of writing samples here, takes ink pretty good. You take the next one and all of a sudden you see a lot of show through, bleed through, feathering, whatsoever. At some point I just got tired of all of that when I want to use a fountain pen, and I thought to myself, there is plenty of good paper out there, for example Rhodia, which is excellent paper for fountain pens, so why not making Rhodia paper, for example, into my own notebook. Now you can use that then as a pocket notebook. I've made a couple here with different colors. Now this here is like a very thin blue color cover with squared edges. I've just used regular, copy paper here. Then I've made a yellow one, pretty thick, that will go very well in a short pocket, and I've even rounded the edges here. Nice craft paper, and I've used some yellow ivory Rhodia paper here. Then I've made a red one, also with rounded corners. You see the rounding is slightly different, and I've used square paper here. So as you see, you're pretty much free to do, you see those have slightly different sizes as well. You're pretty much free to do whatever you want in any size, with any cover, with any paper that you want, just by yourself. And then of course you can use those notebooks not only as notebooks, as pocket notebooks, but I use them, for example, also as traveler's notebook inserts here, because I can also use them as an insert for my Paper Republic traveler's notebook that I have here and that I like a lot. And what I'm going to do next is I show you, first of all, what materials you use or you need, or what I use in order to make pocket notebooks. And then afterwards, I'm going to take you through the process step by step. Now, I just want to say in advance that all the materials that I'm showing you here and that I'm using here is materials that I like to use, but it doesn't matter that you need to use these, right? You can use whatever fits your bill. So first of all, what you of course need is paper. And I'm going to make an A6 pocket notebook. And if I want to make an A6 pocket notebook, of course, the Rhodia A5 pads fit the bill very well. So I'm using this dot pad number 16 here. This will be the paper that I'm going to use for the pocket notebook that I'm going to make. I'm going to make one. But of course, you can also use lined paper or, as said, square paper. You just need to cut that to size. That's that. So of course, you need paper. Then next, you need something that you can use to make the cover. and I just have, you know, carton here in different colors. So I'm going to see what color I'm going to use for my notebook. I bought that here at, I think it was Lidl in Sweden. That's 270 GSM, yeah, craft paper. So, well, you may use whatever you want. And then you need a couple of other tools. I'm having here a Dale cutter, right? You can use a scalpel or even a butterfly knife, whatever you want. Here's a cutter. Then I'm going to use a roll cutter. This is the type or model that I'm using here. Comes with a knife mat. I'm going to use a cutting ruler, a metal cutting ruler. I think it's also Dale. That just has like sort of an edge here where you can like cut along with the knife. So if you use a plastic ruler or something like that, you might just actually cut off the plastic. Then I have another larger Dale knife mat that I'm going to use to do some finishing touches on the notebook. And then in the end, I use a Novus document fastener that is able to staple up to 40 pages. And the good thing about that is that it's adjustable here. So you see A5, A6, A5, A4. So depending on where you adjust that thing here, that is how deep you can insert the paper. And then of course you're going to use that, right, to staple your notebook here in the middle. You could also sew it. There are tutorials on YouTube on how to thread bind the notebook. I just use the stapling method because it's just a lot faster and it's fine to me. So yeah, here's some other details on that product. This is the B17, Novus B17 document fastener. So that is what I am going to use. Now, as a first step, what you first need when you want to make a notebook is, of course, paper. Now, many pocket notebooks come with 48 pages of paper. That means 48 pages. That means 12 sheets of paper. Yeah, that is when you write them forth to back, 24 pages or 48 sides, so to speak. So what you do first is, and I've already done that here, you just take out 12 pieces of A5 paper from this Rhodia dot pad here. What you want to do next then is folding all those 12 sheets of paper into actual notebook pages, and I've already done that here with most of them, so to save time. And I'm just going to do that with one last example here. The last page I'm going to use, I am folding that on this Dale knife mat here, and in order for folding it and to give it a nice tight line, I just use my fingernail and then go up and down like this. That is perfectly fine. Now we have those sheets here. That's going to be our notebook paper. Now what is left for us to do is just put them into one another, just like this. Fold it open, put the next one in, fold it open, put the next one in, fold it open, put the next one in, fold it open, and so on. So at the end of that process, this is what your final product should look like by now. All those 12 pages folded into each other like that. Then of course you're going to have like some, you know, you see that because of course like of the folding into each other, those paper sides, some of them are longer, but we're going to like cut that even or plain in the last step. What I normally do is to get that all tight and snug and all that. And for that I don't use my fingernail, I just use the end of this craft knife here. I just go up and down here a little bit, just to make that really nice and tight, a sharp, nice folding edge. So now we are done with the content of our notebook. We put that aside for a minute. We're going to need that later on. What we will need now is, of course, our cover. And for that, I just pick some nice colored carton here. What I will then do next in order to get that cover to size is just take a piece of the Rhodia paper that I've used for the notebook's pages, put that here, and then just use a ruler quickly. And then this is this cutting ruler that I've shown you before. Oh no, that is the wrong way around now. And I just put that ruler here like that, and then just cut my carton around the edges of that page to fit it exactly to the size that I need, like this. Now this will make another notebook cover for another notebook. You see, that is what this thing here, this roll cutter or whatever you call it, is useful for. And now we have our notebook cover that we're going to use for our notebook, and we're also just going to fold that in the middle. And again, I'm using the back side of the cutting knife to make that a nice, sharp, straight edge. Now we have a cover and we have our pages. Put everything into each other like this. This is what the product should look like by now. And now the only last step that is needed is stapling, and I'm going to show you how to staple with the B17 stapler in a minute. So here we have that stapler that is just loaded with staples like this. And as said, here is this adjusting this thing that you can adjust in order to put in the notebook. I pretty much don't care about that so much because I just measure that with my eye a little bit. Take the notebook like that, open the notebook. Important thing is staple first, cut afterwards, because if you cut first and then you staple, if something happens here, then you're going to have a notebook that's going to look a little bit not so perfect. So I'm just going to take it like that, and I'm not going to staple it like that because then I have the insides of the staples here outside, which is what I don't want. I'm just going to put it in like that. Then open the notebook, turn it around like this, put it in here. That is now some little bit of good eye measure. One, I'm going to give it 3 staples here. 2 and 3. Now you see the middle one here went wrong. That can, of course, now sometimes something like that can happen in the course of a live or more or less live video. I'm just going to redo that. Excuse me for that. That happens. That is, you know, the handmade business. Again. Well, I'm sorry. Now that last staple gave me a little bit of a headache. I had to actually get up and put a little bit more force onto the stapler so as to get that one in. Normally that looks a little bit more neat, but now here I also have like the camera around, which makes everything a little bit more difficult so as that you can see everything. But I think you got the point. You now have the staples in here and you have a very nice, neat little notebook that is almost done. What I will do again is I'm just gonna like make that folding edge here nice and tight, nice and sharp, the way I like it. Very nice, very lovely. And you still see we have those things here. Now, what you can do here is, of course, you're gonna make that a nice even line. And now you can also, if the notebook is still too long for you, you can cut it a little bit shorter or something like that. I'll do that because that is going to be the size. No, and I'll put the staples like that. So I'm going to leave it like that. Of course, you would have to put that staples, those 2 staples, you have to put them a little bit more here. If you wanna cut that part. So I'm gonna leave the length, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna like even out those edges here. And what I'm gonna use for that is that cutting ruler that I've shown you before. Now I just need to see where I put it. I put it here. So let's see if you can actually see what I'm doing here. I guess you can see that. I'm just gonna put the cutting ruler here like that. Use that craft knife. And then just a couple of good measured cuts here. See that? That works very, very well. And we have a notebook with a very beautiful, neat, sharp line. If you now, and that is like now my last little bit of secret crafts trick, how can you get the corners rounded? I mean, now this is not a totally perfect method that I'm using here, but it works very well for me. I just take a coin. This is a Kenyan shilling that I have from my field research in Kenya. I just put that coin here, hold on to it, And then use that craft knife and then, you know, just cut around those corners here a little bit. Now that is something that takes a little bit effort and also a couple of seconds. Please bear with me here. Just wanted to show you that method of getting. I'm just gonna do one corner as well, not both of them, but you get the trick. See that? Now you have and of course you can now just, you know, adjust that here a little bit if you want that. It's not yet round enough for you. Something like that. You get the idea. As said, also when I don't have the camera around, I get a quite neat shaped edge here. I think you get the deal. So this is how you do your own notebooks with fountain pen friendly paper. As said, whatever paper you might want, yellow lined, dot grid as we have here, squared Rhodia paper, any size. Of course, with that staple here, you can also produce an A7, you can produce even an A5, you can use A4 paper to make an A5 notebook and all that. So that's how you make your own notebooks, and you will never ever have to worry with all that stuff here anymore. Plus, normally a 3-pack of Moleskines costs you like, I think $10 or 10 euro or something like that. And I've once done a little calculation. If I do one of those notebooks myself, of course I have a little bit of an overhead cost with all these materials, but then again, I'll have that for the rest of my life. And if I'm gonna do a notebook, I think it's gonna cost me $1 or 1 euro or something like that. Very convenient. I hope you liked that workshop or tutorial. I hope it was useful to you, and I'll see you at the next video that I'm gonna make. Bye bye.